Welcome to the 2022 ASN Annual Business Meeting. I'm John Courtney, Chief Executive Officer, and it's my honor and privilege to introduce your president, Dr. Paul Coates.
Thank you, John. Good morning. It's my pleasure now to welcome you to the ASN 2022 Annual Business Meeting. This has been quite a year for nutrition in general and for ASN in particular. What I'd like to do is to just highlight some of the work that ASN members and staff have been doing to advance health around the world through evidence-based science, education, and the practice of nutrition, as highlighted through the presidential priorities that I set out last year. Let me begin by first saying that ASN is in fantastic shape. Our membership continues to grow to record levels. Our 4 journals continue to receive submissions and impact factors, and we're now reaching way over 50 million around the world annually with the highest quality evidence-based nutrition. Be pleased with the launch of Nutrition 2022, an innovative, new, lifelong learning calendar of events throughout the year, accessible in different formats to better meet the needs of our members and stakeholders. And we continue to expand our science policy and advocacy activities to ensure that funding for nutrition for you, our members, continues to grow. All of this is made possible by the active leadership of a dedicated ASN membership. Over the past year and throughout the pandemic, we've worked tirelessly to innovate and provide more opportunities for members to engage, albeit mostly virtually, with each other, to network, to discuss opportunities, and to develop relationships that we hope will last a lifetime. ASN members are the lifeblood of ASN, and it's such an honor and privilege for me to get to know so many of you and to work to help you be even more successful in your careers. At this point, I'd like to take just a moment to recognize and remember ASN members who are no longer with us. Please join me in a moment of silence to remember these outstanding ASN leaders who've departed since 2019. Thank you. Let me now turn to a few specific activities that I highlighted at the beginning of my term as ASN president and provide you with an update. First is the Nutrition Research Task Force. This task force of outstanding individuals, led by Rick Mattis and Sylvia Rowe and staffed by Sarah Olhorst, will publish their report very soon in Advances in Nutrition. This report highlights the value of nutrition research and how the combination of various research methodologies together form a stronger base of evidence from which policy and funding decisions can be made. This was a yeoman effort. And by the way, Rick and Sylvia were awarded the ASN Volunteers of the Year for leading this task force. We reinvigorated the American Society for Nutrition Foundation this year. First, by selecting 5 gifted scientists to serve as the executive committee of the ASN Foundation Board of Trustees, chaired by Kathy Wotecki. They've been very active since they were constituted late last year, and they've begun to develop a strategic plan, to identify additional members to serve on their board, and to begin prioritizing areas for program development and funding. In my view, this group will serve as a think tank for new ideas, working closely with relevant GEMs and other volunteer groups within ASN. On the matter of diversity, equity, and inclusion, ASN, in partnership with the ASN Foundation, developed a charitable giving campaign at the end of 2021 to encourage donations in support of ASN's DEI initiatives. This was very timely, well received, and successful. ASN is also currently working on an application in response to NIDDK's requests for applications on enhancing workforce diversity, and promoting scientific leadership, particularly from underrepresented groups in the field of nutrition. The application, entitled ASN IDEA, for inclusivity, diversity, equity, and accessibility, will foster support for early career scholars, connect these scholars with leaders to provide new opportunities and grow networks, and build and support systems for scholars to achieve success. You should also check out the very important efforts of ASN's Minority and Diversity Affairs Committee. MDAC has been hard at work developing ASN's future DEI strategy, and their recommendations will be presented to the board this summer. I think you'll see some great output from this work. In terms of the ASN publications portfolio, 2 task forces were convened last year. One was to assist the ASN in making and implementing recommendations to enhance the author experience and to make the ASN journals the go-to publications for nutrition science. Their recommendations are already being incorporated into journal workflow, and more enhancements will be forthcoming, all designed to make it easier for our members to publish their highest quality work and to do so at lower cost. The second task force evaluated publisher proposals for the next 5 years. This has been completed and brought to the board for their approval. The final decision on a publishing partner will be announced this summer, in plenty of time for the next cycle that begins in January of 2023. In terms of ASN 2028, Phase 2, as you know, ASN 2028 is the 10-year strategic plan that will culminate in the Society's 100th anniversary in 2028. The 10-year plan was divided into 3 phases, where the overall plans are reassessed regularly in the context of the current climate and important areas of emphasis. A task force led by Michelle Cardell and April Stull has been actively developing the key priority areas for the second phase, 2023 to 2025. Their work is expected to finish in the next few months, on schedule for implementation in early 2023. And in the area of enhancing ASN's relationship with federal agencies, under the direction of Sarah Olhorst, ASN created the NIH Office, Friends of the NIH Office of Nutrition Research. Its strategic goals are being developed, but currently include: 1, to secure robust funds for the NIH Office of Nutrition Research and increase funding for the NIH Nutrition for Precision Health Initiative. 2, to elevate nutrition research leadership, staffing, and resources within ONR and supported by ONR. And 3, to achieve broad interdisciplinary support and increased collaboration for nutrition research across the NIH, with ONR coordination of all nutrition research conducted at NIH. At the same time, the ASN Committee on Advocacy and Science Policy is also working on plans to elevate the visibility of ASN in the public sector, initially by developing a series of information briefs. Later today, at noon, this meeting will feature a session called Inform ASN's Recommendations for the upcoming White House Conference on Hunger, Nutrition, and Health. ASN was an early champion of this endeavor, and we want to make the best possible recommendations for topics to be included in order to ensure its success and its sustainability. And finally, on this topic, ASN has advanced the case for a doubling of the federal government's investment in nutrition research. So, in closing, this has been a busy year for ASN, and I note for me as well. It's a good thing that I'm retired and have been able to devote considerable time to moving all of these priorities forward. Let me one more time thank you and for your partnership and for all the great advice and new friendships that I've been fortunate to develop as ASN president. It's my pleasure to report that ASN is strong and growing thanks to each and every one of you. And now it's my honor to turn this over to your treasurer, Dr. Sarah Booth.
Thank you so much, Paul. And I just want to personally thank you for your outstanding leadership this past year and also your outstanding mentorship to me personally. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah Booth. I am your ASN treasurer, and it's my pleasure to report today on the finances of ASN. As you have just heard from Paul, this has been quite the year for nutrition in general and for ASN in particular. So let me begin by saying that ASN is in great shape financially. I know we listen to the news, we hear about all the dismal reports on finances globally, but we are doing great. This is quite remarkable with all the challenges we have faced, but we are successful because of each and every one of you, our members. So one of the key tenets that we operate within on the Finance and Audit Committee is to invest in those programs that help our members grow and be more successful, and to do so in a way that is sustainable. You can't throw good money at programs unless it's sustainable. Our membership continues to grow to record levels, as you will hear from our secretary, Barbara Lyle, in a few minutes. So let me give you some examples. We allocated funds to study how we could make our ASN journals even better, with higher impact factors, publish faster, and publish more of the work of our members. And perhaps even more importantly, how can we make it easier and more economical for our members to publish in our journals? All of these are designed to improve the author experience by making it easier, faster, and hassle-free to publish and to get your excellent, outstanding research to the widest global audience, all to improve health around the world through evidence-based nutrition. We have also invested in our GEMs to expand member-to-member engagement, and we have increased need-based scholarships and awards to help our members, all of you, with continuing education, publishing waivers, and meeting participation. In 2021, ASN revenue grew to $11.4 million. You can see the continued upward trend from 2005. And this growth comes from initial investments made to all the various programs designed to advance nutrition science, education, and practice. The beginning of 2021, we, like many other professional societies, were really worried about the continuing impact of the pandemic, the economic uncertainty, and the many other challenges we are all facing today. I am pleased to report that ASN's net assets are strong. So why is this important? It's important because having a strong balance sheet enables us to not only continue to invest in existing programs, but also to develop all those new programs that meet our members' needs today, but also tomorrow. It also ensures that your society will be here to help not only the current generation of nutritional professionals, but the next generation as well. I'd like to recognize my partners on the Finance and Audit Committee. They work hard, we meet on a regular basis, and I really want to thank them for their vision, their leadership, their candor, and their hard work. Trust me, we make John Courtney work hard. We are also so proud of our ASN members. As my time as treasurer comes to a close at the end of this month, I'm so appreciative of all the advice, the support, and the friendships ASN members have provided me. It's been a remarkable experience in a remarkable time. Now I look forward to my new role on the ASN board, and I remain committed to always doing the best for our ASN members. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to hand over the virtual podium to ASN Secretary, Dr. Barbara Lyle.
Hello, my name is Barbara Lyle, and I am the current ASN Secretary and Chair of the ASN Membership Committee. It's been my pleasure to serve as the American Society for Nutrition in this capacity for the past year. Today, I will report on membership growth, engagement, and diversity. As you see in the graph, ASN membership remains strong and continues to grow. With full text access to 4 of the highest ranked scientific journals in the field, the largest nutrition international conference, and a variety of other offerings, ASN member benefits are second to none. Individuals who are serious about the best evidence-based content and advocacy have made ASN their professional home. We continue to promote membership to a global audience and for various member categories. While the majority of our members are based in academic institutions, ASN members are also based in governmental and nonprofit organizations, clinical practice, wellness organizations, industry, and commodity boards. Membership spans across all career stages, from undergraduate and graduate students to early, mid, and late career professionals, to emeritus faculty, and to retirees. Nearly 30% of our members are regular members, meaning they have attained a doctorate level education and have published in peer-reviewed journals. 22% are associate, meaning they are nutrition practitioners or advocates, but they may not be researchers or hold a doctorate level degree. And you can see on this chart the membership of other categories. ASN membership continues to expand globally, with members residing in 115 countries. As COVID has illustrated these past 2 years, health science, collaboration, and information exchange is global. We are proud that our diverse membership helps promote knowledge and exchange of nutrition information from ASN to all corners of the world. This map shows countries in which ASN members reside, shaded in dark blue. 70% of ASN members reside in North America, 30% in other regions, with Asia, Europe, and Africa having the largest representation, followed by South America, the Middle East, North Africa, and Oceania. One of ASN's global initiatives is to offer reduced member dues for individuals residing in developing world economies, and we do this as categorized by the World Bank. This way, we have made ASN membership more attainable for members who may not be able to afford the full price of ASN membership. We have also made significant outreach to members in Africa, working with the Federation of African Nutrition Societies. This is all done to make sure that we welcome more members from that region to ASN. At this time, we will recognize our members who joined ASN on January 1st of 1972. Oh my gosh, that does seem like a long time ago, doesn't it? Or earlier. The fellows are in bold. The ASN past presidents are in red, and we will just pause here for a few minutes, well, seconds, so that you can scan this list. So in summary, we are growing and our members are engaged and diverse. I would encourage you to take a look at the posted slides that are available through the website in order to look at some of the details. I know there's a slide that has shown the percentages, for example, of our membership. It has grown 25%, for example. We have increased engagement with our GEMs, and we have diversity, inclusion, and equity at the center of all our activities. We also have on our website a summary of the recent activities, including all of the joint memberships we're now offering with other programs, affiliate memberships, I would encourage you to take a look at those in case you have not taken advantage of those in the past. It seems like you can be a joint member of both ASN and CNS, Canadian Nutrition Society, as just one example. And finally, we also have a slide available for you that summarizes our upcoming and future activities. In the future, we will be going through, growing through membership initiatives. We will explore possible new membership categories. We will continue our growth of joint membership offerings, and we will continue to support and lead through the GEM activities, which is where most people in the organization find their home of people with like-minded interests, or perhaps different interests if you want to diversify your background. And now I will turn this over to the ASN President-elect, Dr. Martha Balluri.
Thank you, Barbara, and good morning, everyone. I want to thank Paul Coates, our current president of ASN, and Lindsay Allen, our past president, for their outstanding role modeling and leadership that they have provided to our members and to me as I've continued to learn more about how ASN works. In addition, I'm so grateful to our partners from the ASN Board of Directors, Treasurer Sarah Booth, Secretary Barb Lyle, for their passion, leadership, and hard work and partnership in leading ASN. And a huge thanks to the ASN staff who work miracles behind the scenes. In addition, if you've been wondering, there's a lot going on at ASN, as you've already heard from Barb and our board of directors. We are continuing to rely on you as our members, as members of the board of directors, committees, editorial boards, task forces, and our partners, the ASN Foundation, and the Association for Nutrition Department and Program Chairs. ASN continues to raise the bar and comes out on top. Our colleagues on the board of directors have had to pivot many times to accommodate COVID-19 restrictions and, of course, other worldly events that are continuing to change our world rapidly. I'm lucky enough to witness the board of directors in action. In addition to the ongoing work they have done to move ASN toward our centennial celebration, they've had to make decisions and thoughtful strategies in response to ever-changing conditions, with a #1 goal of helping our members. Their ability to pivot is a testament to the resilience of our society. ASN task forces have been busy working on all aspects to plan for the future through Nutrition 2028, so that we can continue to meet our members' needs. Based on the wondrous momentum that Dr. Coates and the board of directors have fueled, I have set 4 priorities for my term as president next year. The first one is I want to continue to champion ASN. I'll continue to steward and adapt our internal operations to serve our members and to develop more communication with our external partners around the world. My goal here is for ASN to be recognized as the global hub for nutrition science. ASN 2028 Phase 2 is occurring now with our task force appointed, and you're welcome to ask us about questions about what they're doing. Our meetings, as you already know, are transitioning to this year. It's mostly online live with hybrid session, especially yesterday's Atwater election, which was a huge success. We want to increase our access for scientists all over the world, regionally, using hybrid meetings, perhaps regional meetings, and online venues. We've already heard about our publications and how we're moving toward changing our models a little bit in adaptation to the open access interest, again, for increasing access for scientists around the world. And I want to support, as championing ASN, I want to support transitions for new models for publishing as we continue to adapt to this new model. My second priority is I want to continue to grow membership by expanding opportunities. As we just heard from Barb, our categories, joining options are increasing, and we're looking at even changing them more, keeping nutrition science at the center of our society. I want to expand partnerships with our sister societies for memberships, evaluate current membership structures, and if needed, change them or adapt them as we need. Partnering with ASN Foundation, the Association of Nutrition Departments and Programs Chairs, the National Board of Nutrition Specialists, historically Black colleges and universities, and our other peer international societies and alliances in nutrition is a key part of this priority. My third priority is to expand partnerships, and we're already seeing some of this with the ASN Foundation taking on, I would say, 2.0 or its next phase of how it's developing, continuing to develop partnerships with industry, government, and other professional societies, and increasing investment and funding for nutrition research, which I think is the bottom line for keeping our science growing. My fourth priority is to continue to ensure trust in ASN and in nutrition research. We heard yesterday at the Atwater lecture how some of the public's perceptions of nutrition research is not very high. We want to change that. We can ensure trust by educating and assisting members in how to help with statements of transparency. We want to provide educational tools for the public about nutrition science, and we want to ensure that our public trusts nutrition science and trusts ASN to help that goal. I'm looking forward to partnering with each and every one of you, our ASN members, as we continue our progress toward a healthier world through evidence-based nutrition. Thank you for being here at our annual meeting this morning. It is my honor to serve you, our members, as your incoming president for ASN. And now we'll get back to John Courtney, our CEO.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, everyone. Truly remarkable how ASN is doing. So now it's an opportunity for our members to ask any questions that you may have. You have the officers of the society here, and we've had an opportunity to have a few questions asked through the website and the portal, and that will continue. So I'd like to go right to the Q&A, but encourage each of you on the call, if you have a question, please put that into the Q&A session and we'll move that forward. Let's begin with some questions first. Paul, let's start with you. Where can we as members find the Nutrition Research Task Force report you mentioned?
So thanks very much for the question. I'm sorry, it looks as though I can't get my video back on, but you'll have to take my word for it that I'm here. There we go. Thanks. So the report was generated after a year or two of intense work. It's going to be published in Advances in Nutrition. Should be coming out within the next month. And then at the same time, there will be editorials about this simultaneously published in the other 3 ASN journals. We'll announce this at the right time in the monthly ASN e-newsletter, Nutrition Notes. And if you don't see Nutrition Notes in your email, I strongly encourage you to get it. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on ASN news.
Perfect, wonderful. Thanks so much, Paul. I'm going to the next one. I'm going to send this one to you, Sarah, if I could. As a student member from the non-US, I regret to say that we were not able to receive support as a doctoral student. When I wanted to renew my membership to register for this Congress, they helped me, and today I have access to this excellent environment. I would like to thank everyone who provided this opportunity, and please continue to use online meetings to deliver such scientific environments to us in the future. Otherwise, unfortunately, there is no way we can reach out. Are there other things that ASN can do to help expand accessibility?
Well, congratulations to the person who asked the question for perseverance and also their commitment to ASN. I think that this is where the collective membership is so critical. But I'm going to hand it over to Barbara, who is more in tune with membership and what people can do.
Thanks, Sarah. So one of the things that I found interesting listening to Sarah's talk is many of you might have been thinking, well, why do you need so many funds available? And Sarah mentioned the reason is because it supports programs. And those programs, in fact, support membership. So a big part of the reason that we can support student membership is that we can offer at a discount, very discounted low rates, and in some cases free. So in my mind, being a member to start with is great, because then you can tap into all of the offerings that come out. And especially now with Nutrition 2022 being a year-long offering rather than just one, that would be the aim. If we're not addressing your question directly and specifically enough, I would just encourage you to pop us an email and let us know more specifically what we can do to answer your question.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Keep the questions coming in the Q&A section, okay? And we'll try to get to as many as we can. Martha, we have one here. Should and how can ASN deal with the misleading information in the news media?
Boy, I think that's a question on all of our minds. Great question. Part of what might be important to know is we have wrestled with this for a while on the board of directors. Misinformation pops up all the time in nutrition, dietetics, and of course, nutrition sciences. Yesterday's 2022 Atwater lecture honoring Dr. Alice Lichtenstein covered your concerns pretty well. And some of the things that you might want to know beyond that are ASN's 2028 task force is exploring, proposing to expand ASN's role in communicating to the larger public. And if we do, how we do it. We also have a public information committee that is focusing specifically on your question. There will be more to come on this, and I really am excited to get your question and to be able to air this again.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for the question. Thanks, Martha, for the great response. Let's go to another question we have for Sarah. How have the assets of the society changed over the last 5 years since, say, 2016-17 compared to the last 16 years, which was 2005 when the organizations merged?
Thank you for the question. It's gone up. One of the big, I would say, transformative changes to our finance was the original decision, which precedes me, so I can't take credit for the wisdom, of the ASN Board of Directors to transition to Oxford University Press. At the time, it was the right decision, and it really helped the finances because we went from an in-house publishing to a partnership. We also continue to generate revenue from our growing membership and all the new education programs. With specific numbers, I'm going to hand over to John, but John, can I just make a plug in response to that first question? For the person who has benefited from the generosity of other members because they received a scholarship, I would just urge each and every member who can, you should be giving to the foundation. I personally am doing, participating in the early career mentoring program right now. I'm mentoring someone who is in an African country, does not have the resources to pay for our registration, in part because her university is on strike. She applied for a scholarship and she got one, and she is attending this meeting. It's all through our generosity. So if you have, share. And if you don't have, then please express your gratitude to the ones who are sharing. And John, do you want to give any plug for the numbers, specific numbers, respond to the question? Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you so much for the question and for the great answer, Sarah. So back in 2017, our net assets were about 5.5 million. So you see that we've almost doubled in that time, and it coincided, as Sarah indicated, with the number of growth activities within publishing, also within education, but mainly from helping to provide the investments that earlier boards had made for new programs and development to help ASN not only ensure its sustainability, but to grow its impact. And so it's been quite successful. So we're really pleased with where things are. Great question. Thank you so much for asking it. Always keep your questions coming. We have a lot in the queue now, so I'm really excited about this. So I love the interactivity here. Let's go back to you, Paul, if we could. I am happy that you mentioned diversity, equity, and inclusion activities at ASN. Is this something ASN has supported historically, or is this a new focus?
It's a bit of both, actually. We have always been dedicated to the notion of enhancing opportunities for underrepresented people in our field. But the focus has really been a lot more energized in the last couple of years. We have a very strong Minority and Diversity Affairs Committee. We have a new ASN Foundation board that has energy to devote to this issue and some great ideas moving forward. So, I mean, it's always been an issue in our field, science in general, but I'm pleased that now we're starting to be able to develop some tools and some ideas that can enhance opportunities for underrepresented minorities. Some specific ones in the United States include trying to identify better ways to partner historically Black colleges and universities, for example, or tribal colleges or Hispanic serving institutions with so-called non-minority institutions to enhance opportunities for mentorship and for collaboration, and ultimately to create a workforce that much more fairly represents our society in general. I'm also anxious to see that we provide opportunities for leadership, and that means mentorship for people who are underrepresented in our field.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for the question. Great answer, Paul. Really appreciate it. Keep the questions coming. Let's go to Barbara. I've heard that membership continues to grow to record levels. How does this benefit me as a longtime member? Have we lost our focus on nutrition science and research?
Thank you for that question, because as the new secretary, I asked a lot of questions this past year, so I should shout out to ASN staff for a thank you for answering these questions. And in fact, one of the questions I asked related to the pie chart that you saw early on that showed that I think it was 28% of our membership are the regular members. These are the people who are PhD researchers who published in peer-reviewed journals. And, you know, you look at that number and you go, of what benefit is it to those people who are beginning and sustaining core to have all these other categories? And the answer is twofold. The first is that most people I know of who do research do it because they want their research to be impactful. And impact includes not just the work that they've done as a researcher, but the translation of their research, the collaborations that may occur to expand their research, how it's translated into public policy, how it's used by communicators, how it's used by community educators, practitioners, right? So the whole idea here of having other people who are different from you in the organization is that it amplifies the work that you are doing in terms of translation. And the second part is that the way you learn and interact with other people that are different from you can be through your society. It can be through the GEMS, it could be through some of the committees and interest sections. And so it is actually a member benefit to offer you that opportunity to interact with people who are quite different and have a different perspective than you do.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for the question. Keep the questions coming. Great answer. Really appreciate it. Let's move forward to next question. This one is for you, Martha. You mentioned several partnerships between ASN and other organizations. Can you expand more on that? How can I recommend or establish a partnership with ASN?
Oh, great question. So some of the sister organizations that we're partnering with are the Canadian Society for Nutrition. I think we have one with Korea, South Korea, and some other countries. We also are looking at, and we do this also through our partnerships for memberships, we're partnering with sister societies like IFT, Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, and other organizations to partner with them for expanding our membership options so that you could get a slightly reduced price. And we're looking at this now for other membership organizations. I think those are some of the partnerships I was talking about. We also have internal partnerships. And what I mean by that is these partnerships popped up from ASN. They are their own entities, but that's the American Society for Nutrition Foundation. the Association for Nutrition Departments and Program Chairs, the ANDP group. They are sister organizations, and they somewhat revolve around ASN, and we revolve around them, if that makes sense. And then the other partnerships that I'm always thinking about are the industry partnerships. We know in nutrition research, some of the biggest dollars for nutrition research in the United States has been food commodity groups and food corporations. And so we want to continue to foster industry partnerships as well.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks so much for the question. Let's continue to move forward with, we have one here for Sarah Booth. We've got a lot of questions coming. Okay, here we go. So Sarah, we heard this is your last year as treasurer. Who is the next year's treasurer?
Oh, great question. The next year's treasurer is April Stoll. She has actually served on the finance committee for several years. The finances of ASN are going to be in very good hands with April. She is very attentive. She is smart. She asks the hard questions, and she is passionate about ASN. And so I don't know if April is listening, but go girl, you're going to do a great job.
Thanks so much. We're really looking forward to continuing to work with April. Oh, we have a couple more questions that are here. Paul, I want to put this one to you. And you know, our ASN members like to ask the tough questions. What plan does ASN have to deliberately increase diversity of leadership? I am seeing an all-white leadership panel right now, and the idea slide does not necessarily represent a diverse culture. Thank you.
Yeah, I was about to answer that question in the chat, but I'm happy to do it here. Yeah, it's a good point. And I'm sorry if the perception is what you said. Representation really does matter. And our board is actually rather more diverse than would appear from the pictures that you see on the screen right now. So we're excited about April Stoll joining us on the board as the treasurer. Dr. Musaid Musa is also a member of our board. But that's just an example. Our foundation is very committed to identifying ways in which we can enhance diversity. And I mentioned this earlier in my remarks, not just of the membership, but also of the leadership. MDAC is identifying some mentoring opportunities that specifically are aimed at not just trying to encourage people to join us, but to be our leaders. I'm very excited about that possibility. I appreciate the question. It's always a little tough when the perception is different from the intention.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for the question. Martha, you have a comment?
Yes, that's a great point, Paul. And I wanted to also, express my sincere request. Contact somebody on the board, any one of us, if you want to learn about more leadership opportunities in ASN. We have them for anyone who wants them at any place. I mean, one of the ways I got active was being involved with my RIS groups when I was starting out in my career as an independent scientist. They were RISs, now they're RISs and GEMs. And these groups really enable you to network with people in your own specific field of nutrition sciences, but also they provide lots of leadership opportunities that then build into other things because you get to know people. So please do reach out to us if you have questions that you want to explore in terms of leadership in the ASN.
Perfect. Thanks so much. Paul, we've come to the end of our Q&A time. Would you like to do a quick wrap up in 30 seconds or less?
For the membership. It's certainly important for your leadership to be able to convey ideas and to listen to what you're saying. As Martha said, contact us. I hope you know where we live, and we would be very excited about sharing our views with you, suggesting opportunities for you, putting you in touch with people. It's what we do, and I think it's the kind of thing that keeps us highly motivated. So thank you all for your participation.